for Thursday, may not feel like it needs much explanation, but there are some things to kind of at least maybe gloss over a little bit. We can still have a conversation about maybe how you want to approach it, or how you can sort of peel back some of the layers of the onion to, really get down to what exactly a goat of yours might be. Now, in the write-up, I sort of put, that a pistol, I would consider that a goat of mine. And to be honest, it is, but for one reason or another. But if I continue to try to unpack what the root cause of it is, it isn't for lacking, leg strength to be able to perform a pistol when, the flexibility or the any other aspects of the pistol, whether it's balance or coordination, any of those are sort of taken off the table. I do just fine with a pistol. But particularly one side of my body, because I broke my ankle playing basketball, it's always just been kind of fighting against me for the last 15 years trying to get a pistol. And I've gotten to a point where I'm pretty close, but it's still, I would consider it a goat. Now, what's a goat? So if you put every single thing, snatches, overhead squats, clean and jerks, deadlifts, wall ball shots, pull-ups, muscle-ups, strict pull-ups, handstand push-ups, handstand walks. Handstand walks, another goat of mine. That's a true goat of mine. I mean, all of the things are lacking for my handstand walks. But if I put all of those things into a hopper and I started cranking the hopper, and then I pop the top on the hopper and I reach in, what are you not wanting to see come out of the hopper? That's kind of the best way that you can summarize, what a goat is. And, there's definitely sort of a cynical response to that. I might say everything, but, when it comes down to, brass tacks, there's definitely an order of things that I wouldn't want to see come out. And, as we get further away from the handstand walk or the pistol, and we get into, other movements beyond that, then it starts to get a little bit more obvious what exactly the movements are that I feel like are the most elusive. So it gets tricky though, because you also don't want to say, well, I don't want heavy snatches to come out of the hopper. That might be something that you don't want to see come out of the hopper, but it's a tough sell for, is that a goat? Because it would be like saying, I don't want pistols to come out. I don't want 200 pistols to come out. Maybe I'm just fine at 50 reps of pistols, but for 200, no, I don't think anybody wants to see that. But the point being, if I can do them, it's not a movement that's super elusive. Awesome. So for the decision making process, it's anything that you feel like you wouldn't otherwise work on unless you were given the opportunity to work on it specifically, or the opportunity to do it in a workout is, it's something that you feel like you never really get an opportunity to dip your toes into some of the like the skill session type deal for a particular movement. So if you for example, if you feel like a handstand push-up is a goat of yours, but when we do the workouts, maybe some of the options for the handstand push-ups aren't on the table, or you don't feel like it's going to be a good option for you, maybe that's something that you would work on. You would expose yourself to a few different methods for practicing the handstand push-up. Or even if it's something that you typically like to work on, say at home, but now you'd be given an option to work on it in the gym, and be able to sort of pick your coach's brain as to how to get better at it. What it isn't is, it isn't pick a workout from another programming place, and do that because it looked fun. We do have open gyms that kind of fall under that, but this wouldn't fall under that. So this is, you can make up any of Spartans from this past week, or even like the Spartio workout from Sunday. You can spend the hour working on a few of your goats. So just kind of getting back to, I'll wrap this up quick. My goats right now are words. So just to sort of, I guess, put a cap on, the goat making decision. Again, I would say that it's anything that you feel like you've given your, a solid effort and just aren't getting. If you feel like you have the grip strength and the leg strength to do a rope climb, but it's just, you try, and, whether it's because it's for time or, whatever the issue might be on a rope climb that makes it so that the footlock is just, eluding your skills right now, it's a good opportunity to work on it. And it doesn't have to be limited to one. I would certainly sort of triage my movements and say, okay, these are the ones that I feel, I literally couldn't feel any less stress about if I were to see them come out of the hopper. So for me, like a jump rope, pretty much anything with a jump rope, double unders, if I never work on them again, I'm fine. I know that, if you don't use it, you sort of lose it sort of with CrossFit, but there are some things that I feel like, whether it's because I've kind of done something my whole life, or just I was so super set on getting it a long time ago. I was so frustrated that I couldn't get double unders. Ever since the first time I did, Flight Simulator, I was like, okay, that was 25 minutes of just beating my head against the wall, and I don't ever want to experience that again. So, I went, and I think I've told this story before, another little story time with Michael reboot. I went to the store, I bought every jump rope they had, because this was before the speed ropes were readily accessible. Bought like 10 or 15 of the the one size fits all jelly ropes at Meijer. They were like $1.99 a piece, and they were good for like 300-400 jumps or so before they broke. And you could fix them, but then they'd be like a half an inch to an inch shorter. So on to the next one. And I did it in the driveway. I just did my jump ropes for 15 hours, felt like. And I walked away better, but not much. Like, I didn't have a lot more jump ropes or a lot more dubs, but I walked away with some things figured out. I knew that it wasn't going to be in my best interest to get 25 unbroken double unders if they were garbage. It's way harder to undo bad habits than it is to just not establish them to begin with. So if you do decide to work on something, this is why it's so important to have good form and then reinforce the good form with consistency before you really start adding any sort of intensity. Or if you start adding intensity, back off when you start to feel them break down. Because, if I had continued to work on my jump rope the way that I had tried to during the flight simulator that I had done at the Y, way back when, I really would have reinforced some bad, probably like piking or tuck jump or high knee type jump rope, arms probably shooting way out from the side. And any of those things are huge flaws. It's just, you don't know it until you know it. And that's when, you're doing something like Annie and it's dubs and sit-ups, and then you have to do midline flexion, and then you've got a pike or a tuck jump on a double under. It's just going to expose you. So having, kind of going back to the drawing table and being willing to like not get more than 2 or 3 in a row, but reinforcing a nice tall jump, no pikes, no tucks, no elbows, leaving my rib cage. Suddenly a goat was less of a goat once I was done with that training session. So that's a good way to approach things in my book. It's not going to be a good thing to say that a pistol is my goat, come in and have my heel cranked up off the floor, leaning way into the planted leg, just having all sorts of faults in the quality of the lift, reinforcing that, then thinking that you'll fix it down the line. When you go to fix it, then you have to sort of unlearn it, which means I'm going to go from 25 unbroken, garbage double unders to having to unpack and get rid of all of the bad habits that I've developed in the meantime.